Good afternoon, class 12. And today we will start with the topic P block elements. Now, before we start with P block elements, I will just brief you on what type of questions you get from this chapter. We basically get reasoning and we get structures and to draw and two reactions to complete. Okay, and they are from method of preparation of phosphine basically, and some reaction maybe with the nitrogen also. So let us start with this chapter with this aspect in mind that whatever new terms you will come across, you will learn them, what are they, and also uh, reasoning questions in mind. Explain why this should be the endeavor. Okay, so I have written some notes also, which I will be sending you, and we can start with our chapter here. Alright, is the screen clearly visible? Okay, so let's start. Today I am going to start with certain facts about P block elements. Okay, certain facts about P block elements. I am starting from it is from group 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18, right? 13, 14 are class 11 syllabus. 15, 16, 17 and 18 they are your class 12 syllabus. Okay, now there are certain facts. See, 18th is inert gases, that is very small. 17th is halogens, and then 16th is sulfur and oxygen, and group 15 is nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth, right? So I'm starting with group 15 is because there are a lot of reasoning questions which can be asked on group 15. Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. The first thing is nitrogen and phosphorus. Why I took this group is because nitrogen and phosphorus, these two are non-metals. Arsenic and antimony are metalloids. What are metalloids? Can anybody answer quickly? What are metalloids? Elements which show the property of both metals as well as non-metals. Okay, and then we have got bismuth which acts as metal. So in this group we have got non-metals, metalloids and metals both. Now general electronic configuration of group 15 elements is ns2np3 because they have 5 valence electrons. 5 valence electrons, and group 15 will start from period number 2. Now, extra stable electronic configuration due to half-filled p orbital. See this. The maximum number of electrons can be 6 and p3 means half-filled. And how do we draw it? How do we draw it? If I will draw it, you will be able to remember what we did in class 11. This is half-filled orbital p. Okay, 1, 2, 3. This is Hund's rule. Half-filled orbitals are most stable because of exchange energy, right? And symmetry. Now atomic and ionic radii, out of this I have written it this way: nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, but it is this way: nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony. Okay, now so I have written it here: nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. Now first thing is atomic and ionic radii. You know, we have already done it in the chapter of classification of elements, that is periodic table. As you go down the group, the size goes on increasing because you are adding new shell every time. So it increases, and the reason is given: increase in number of inner shells or shielding effect. All right, you know, as we go down and the number of shells go on increasing, what happens? Shielding effect comes into play, right? Size goes on increasing because of addition of new shells. Okay, increase in size from nitrogen to phosphorus is considerable, means it can be noticed. It is more as compared to the other elements. While from arsenic to bismuth, only a small increase is observed due to presence of completely filled d and f orbitals which are poorly shielding. Now shielding effect is maximum for s orbital, then p orbital, then d and then f. So d and f, they have got poor shielding effect. Now as we go down here, this size, this is 2s2 2p3, this is 3s2 3p3, right? Here there is the innermost shells are not that much complete, but when we go down to antimony and bismuth, the inner shells have got electrons in d and f subshells. That means the shielding effect is poor, and because of poor shielding effect, what will happen? The size increases because effective nuclear charge will decrease. That is the reason why the difference in size is there as we move down the group. Now next is ionization enthalpy. Now ionization enthalpy is directly linked to size. If size is increasing, ionization enthalpy will decrease. They are inverse of each other. The amount of energy required to remove the valence electron will definitely decrease because of poor shielding effect of D and F. That means here ionization enthalpy will be least. Why? Because the size is large due to poor shielding effect of d and f electrons. Okay. Next we come here, see group 14 and group 15. Okay, this is in a period. As we move down the period, the size decreases. If the size decreases, effective nuclear charge increases. Size decreases means your ionization enthalpy will increase. The valence electron will be tightly held by the nucleus. This way, group 15 should have higher ionization enthalpy as compared to group 14. But it is abnormally high, means it is much higher than the expected value. Why group 15 is going to have very high ionization enthalpy? The reason is half filled orbital. Group 15 elements have half filled orbitals. Okay, due to extra stable half filled p orbitals, in the electronic configuration and small size, the first ionization enthalpy of the group 15 elements is much greater than that of group 14 elements. Okay, now group 14 and 15 is going to be higher, but it is unexpectedly higher. This is in corresponding. Now what is this? This is first ionization enthalpy will be less than second, will be less than third. That is in case of group 15 elements. If there are 3 electrons in the p orbital. So if you are removing first electron, the energy required will be less, second will be higher, third will be even more. This is the general trend. But if you compare it to group 14, comparatively their ionization enthalpy will be much higher. Electronegativity value decreases down the group with increasing atomic size. Okay, there is a reason for it. Electronegativity is tendency to attract shared pair of electrons, and your see, nitrogen is the third most electronegative element, the first being fluorine followed by oxygen, and the third is nitrogen. So electronegativity value decreases down the group. Okay, why? Nitrogen 78% by volume of atmosphere is nitrogen gas. As nitrogen is present as sodium nitrate, that is known as chili saltpeter, and also potassium nitrate, which is your Indian saltpeter. Now this is the way nitrogen exists in nature in the form of salts. In the form of proteins, it is present in plants and animals, because the in proteins the most important element content is nitrogen. Then phosphorus is present as fluoropatite, that is Ca4PO4 whole 6, and calcium fluoride. It is a double salt of calcium, phosphate and fluoride. It is also present in bones as well as living cells. Antimony and bismuth are found as sulfides, that is arsenic sulfide, antimony sulfide, and bismuth sulfide. They occur in nature. Nitrogen exists as a diatomic molecule. Now, diatomic means it always exists as N2. It never exists in nature in atomic form. And the bonding is N triple bond N, like this. There are two pi bonds and one sigma bond present. Whereas phosphorus exists in the form of P4 molecule, that is like this. Now, something which is striking here is nitrogen is forming pi bonds, that is double bonds and triple bonds. In various structures, in various oxides, it forms double bond and triple bond, but phosphorus only forms single bond. Of course, this property to form long chain of single bonds is known as catenation. It is known as catenation, right? But nitrogen does not show catenation. It only two atoms are linked together. It's a diatomic molecule. Because it is of the small size of nitrogen, the two nitrogen atoms are able to overlap and form pi bond, because pi bond involves sideways overlapping. Is that clear? Whereas phosphorus is much larger in size than nitrogen. So sideways overlapping does not take place in phosphorus. So P pi P pi bond is not formed. What is P pi P pi bond? Okay, now that I will explain it to you just now. See, P means p orbital, pi means pi bond. So when the pi bond is formed by sideways overlapping of two p orbitals, we call it P pi P pi bonding. It is another term for a pi bond. So phosphorus will not form any pi bonds. Reason is given: nitrogen can form p pi p pi bonding, whereas due to large size and diffused nature of large 3p orbitals. Diffuse nature means the electron density is spread out. In p orbitals, which is larger in size, the electron density is much spread out over a larger area. So it is diffused in nature. Okay. Then it doesn't lead to effective overlapping. Alright. Next we have is nitrogen can form p pi p pi multiple bonds because 2p orbital is much smaller in size and can overlap sideways effectively to form pi bonds. Okay. Now next reasoning is nitrogen is a gas whereas phosphorus is a solid. Now this also is interesting. Nitrogen is existing as gas, while the rest, phosphorus and arsenic, antimony, bismuth, they are all solids. The reason being is nitrogen is diatomic, that is, two atoms are linked together, whereas phosphorus is tetratomic, four atoms are linked together, which increases the van der Waals forces largely. What is van der Waals forces? It is force of attraction between two molecules and is directly proportional to area in contact. Now, phosphorus onwards, the size of the atoms increases considerably. So what happens? Since size is increasing, van der Waals forces increase. When van der Waals forces increase, there is change of state. So due to large van der Waals forces, they exist in the form of solids. Van der Waals forces are absent in case of nitrogen. Nitrogen only forms p pi p pi bonding and exists as diatomic gas. Okay. Alright. Due to small size. So any reason you can write. Due to small size of nitrogen, formation of a diatomic molecule by nitrogen, p pi bonding in nitrogen, or existence of van der Waals forces in phosphorus, or a tetraatomic state in phosphorus, right, leads to larger van der Waals forces. All these answers will be marked correct. Now, physical properties. What about physical properties? All elements of this group are polyatomic. Polyatomic means they all exist more than one atoms, they are linked together. Okay. Second is dinitrogen is a diatomic gas while others are solid. This we have just discussed. Third, boiling point increases from top to bottom. What does boiling point depends upon? It depends upon intermolecular force of attraction. And I had told you the strongest forces of attraction are hydrogen bonding, followed by dipole-dipole interaction, and third is van der Waals forces. Now we do not have in group 15, there is nothing like hydrogen bonding because it is nitrogen and nitrogen bonding taking place, phosphorus and phosphorus bonding, there is no hydrogen here. So boiling point will increases from top to bottom because of increase in size and increase in van der Waals forces. So the next one is melting point increases up to arsenic and then decreases up to bismuth. That means melting point is increasing. Melting point depends upon packing. The more closely the atoms are packed, higher will be the melting point of the solid. Now here, except nitrogen, all elements show allotropy. What is allotropy? Allotropy is the property when the molecule can exist in more than one physical form. For example, you have phosphorus exists as red phosphorus, okay, yellow phosphorus, black phosphorus. So these are various allotropic, various physical forms of phosphorus. So nitrogen is a gas, so it will not show allotropy. Alright, then only solids they show allotropy. Metallic character increases down the group. This is understood as you go down the group, size is increasing. So what is happening? Ionization enthalpy is decreasing. So the metal or the element will have tendency to lose electrons. So metallic character will increase. Nitrogen is a non-metal, phosphorus is non-metal, but bismuth, which is in the end, that is going to be a metal. Next we go on to chemical properties. Now oxidation states. Which oxidation states will be shown by the elements in this group? Electronic configuration is Ns2Np3. Now this is interesting and you must view this. Ns2Np3. If only 3 electrons are lost, if only these 3 valence electrons are lost, it will show an oxidation state of +3. But if all 5 of them are lost, it will show oxidation state of +5. Okay. If s electrons are lost, then only +5 oxidation state will occur. Now some examples are given here. These are the 3 oxidation states shown by group 15, -3, +3 and +5. +3 I have told you, +5 I have told you. When will it be -3? See here, 3 are unpaired electrons. If it accepts 3 electrons, it will have a complete octet. So if it accepts 3 electrons, the charge will be -3. Okay. This happens with alkali and alkaline earth metals. Calcium nitride, Ca3N2. Now this compound is going to be ionic because calcium, 3 atoms of calcium will lose how many? 6 electrons. 2 atoms of nitrogen will accept 6 electrons. So charge here will be -6, here will be +6. On one atom the charge will be -3. Okay, this is ionic bond formed. Loss of electron, gain of electron. Whereas in +3 state, NCl3, PCl3, chlorine, each chlorine -1, 3 chlorine atom -3. Here it will be +3. So in this is covalent bonding. It is covalent bonding. So PCl3 and Cl3 +3 state. In PCl5 +5. Here one question is asked, one reasoning question is asked. PCl5 is known, but NCl5 is not known. Can you answer this question? PCl5 is known, but NCl5 is not known. Is PCl5 covalent or ionic? What type of bonding is there in PCl5? Love Tiwari, what type of bonding is there in PCl5? It is covalent or ionic? You have done this structure in class 10. You have a phosphorus, then 5 chlorine atoms, right? Like this. It is a covalent bonding, right? Yes. So here what will happen if we have NS2, we will draw like this. Okay? NS2. And then it will be NP3. Correct? 3 unpaired electrons. Now I'm asking if it has to form 5 covalent bond. This has to unpair into empty d orbital. Will nitrogen have empty d orbital? Will nitrogen have empty d orbital? No, it will not have. Elements of period 2 do not have d orbital. They have only s and p. You remember above chart? We were writing 1s, 1s, 2s, 2p. We were not writing 2d. Then 3s, 3p, 3d. That is from phosphorus onwards we will have empty d orbitals because this will need to be unpaired. Okay, in hybridization you have done that. Now, therefore, PCl5 is known but NCl5 is not known. One line answer is absence of d orbital. Now, tendency to exhibit -3 oxidation state decreases down the group. As you go down, the tendency will decrease. That will, example which I have given you is with nitrogen, not with bismuth, not with arsenic, not with antimony. They will not form -3 oxidation state. Okay. Why? Why it will be like this? Due to increase in size and metallic character. As you go down, size is increasing, ionization enthalpy is decreasing, so they will have a tendency to lose electron. Okay, they will have tendency to lose electron. -3 charge kab hoga? When they will accept 3 electrons. They will not have tendency to accept 3 electrons. +3 and +5 are generally covalency. That means I just now told you in covalent bonding. Tendency to show +3 oxidation state as compared to +5 oxidation state increases down the groove. Every year this question is asked in some form or the other. As you go down the groove, that means arsenic, antimony, bismuth. In them, they will have greater tendency to form compounds in +3 oxidation state, not in +5. See here, I just explained it to you. +3 means only p orbitals will be involved. If +5, then s electrons are involved. Now, a very special effect takes place here. It is known as inert pair effect. INERT. Inert pair effect. What is the meaning of inert? Non-reactive. Okay, non-responsive. So here, if s electrons do not participate into bonding, then the oxidation state shown by the element will be only +3. Okay, this oxidation state will be only +3. Now, why this is? This inert pair effect is defined as the reluctance. Reluctance means does not want to. Okay, does not want to. The s electrons do not want to participate in bonding. That is why +5 oxidation state is difficult for arsenic, antimony, and bismuth. Only +3 is known. Alright, now here the reason is given due to inert pair effect, that is non-participation of s electrons in bonding, in bond formation. As when we go down the groove, the bonds formed are weaker and thus what happens? The energy release is not sufficient to unpair the electrons. Here, this unpairing requires, if we have to have +5, there are two things. First of all, empty d orbital should be there, which is absent in nitrogen but present in all. Arsenic, antimony, and bismuth do have d orbitals. Then 2 plus 5 state is not there because it requires energy to unpair s electrons. From where this energy will come? When these 3 electrons, they will form bonds. Energy will be released. That energy is used to unpair these electrons. Are you getting it? When these bonds will form energy, these electrons will form 3 bonds, the energy release is used to unpair this. But due to large size, what happens? The overlapping is less and the energy released is also less. That is not enough to unpair this electron. Therefore, oxidation state of only +3 is there. Next we have, in the case of nitrogen, all oxidation states from +1 to +4 tend to disproportionation disproportionate in acid solution. What is disproportionation reaction? It is a reaction in which the same substance gets oxidized and also gets reduced. This is known as disproportionation reaction. So if in any compound nitrogen from +1 to +4 oxidation state, if it is there, okay, what will happen? Such a compound will undergo disproportionation reaction. Let us see. HNO2 is changing into HNO3. What is actually happening? Oxygen is being added, so this part is oxidation. This part is oxidation. And here in NO, this is -2, this is +2, and this is -2, right? And here, what will be the oxidation state here? It is 2 -4, -4 and +1 will be -3. So this is +3. +3 to +2. This is reduction. This is reduction. Okay. So same substance is getting oxidized, same substance is getting reduced. This is known as disproportionation reaction. So if nitrogen is in +1 to 2 +4, that means +2 +3 +4 oxidation state, it is capable of undergoing disproportionation reaction. Okay. Next point is nitrogen is restricted to a maximum covalency of 4. I told you nitrogen forms, this is asked in 1 mark question. What is the maximum covalency of nitrogen? It is 4. It forms 3 covalent and 1 coordinate bond. So maximum covalency is counted as not 3. See, coordinate bond is treated as a special case of covalent bond. So maximum covalency will be 4. Since only 4, that is 1s and 3p orbitals are available for bonding. Now nitrogen shows anomalous behavior. This is another important thing. I had told you in each group the first element always shows anomalous behavior. This we did in diagonal relationship. Why does it show anomalous or abnormal behavior? Because of its extremely small size, absence of d orbital. Okay, here in case of nitrogen, small size, there is a vast difference in size between nitrogen and phosphorus. Smallest size, high electronegativity. Nitrogen in group 15 is the most electronegative element. Unique ability to form p-pi bonding. Why does it form p-pi bonding? Because it is smaller in size and it can overlap, the p orbitals can overlap sideways. It is capable of showing -3 oxidation state, which other elements are not able to show. That means it can accept 3 electrons in p orbital to complete the octet. Because the size is so small, effective nuclear charge is very high, so it is able to accept 3 electrons and form ionic bond. Okay, so these are here. This is the compound I told you, calcium nitride, where it is showing oxidation state of -3 and calcium is +3. Okay, so this way it is anomalous or it has got abnormal behavior. Now nitrogen is an inert gas at room temperature. This is also asked in reasoning. Why it is inert? Why 78% of the atmosphere is consisting of nitrogen and still we do not have compounds of nitrogen in the nature? The reason being is that nitrogen is bonded to another nitrogen atom by a triple bond, and to break 3 bonds it requires lot of energy which is not available in the surrounding, which is not available in nature because of high dissociation enthalpy. Now this is a technical language which I have used, and simple words you can say the two atoms of nitrogen are bonded by a triple bond, and to break the triple bond lot of energy is required. That is why high dissociation enthalpy, energy required to dissociate the molecule, to break the molecule, is very high. Now single nitrogen nitrogen bond is weaker than a single phosphorus phosphorus bond. I told you it is because of difference in size. Nitrogen and nitrogen bond. See, we had discussed the case of in electronegativity in Electronegativity order, electron gain enthalpy order of halogens. We first have chlorine and then we have fluorine, and there I had given you the reason. Inter-electronic repulsion is there because the two fluorine atoms are so small that when they overlap, the non-bonded electrons, they repel each other. The non-bonded electrons will repel each other. Same is the case with nitrogen. It is also very small in size. So if we have two small atoms overlapping, the non-bonded electrons, the distance between them is less. So they repel each other. It is known as inter-electronic repulsion. Okay. As a result, the catenation tendency is weaker in nitrogen. Due to this inter-electronic repulsion, because of small size of nitrogen, a single bond in nitrogen is very unstable. So it cannot undergo catenation. Catenation matlab it will form long chain. It is not possible. Only two atoms are linked together, that too by a triple bond, not by a single bond. Is this clear to you? Now, reactivity towards hydrogen. Here all group 15 elements, they form hydrides of the general formula MH3, right? NH3, PH3, ASH3, SBH3, okay, and bismuth hydride. Example ammonia, this is phosphine, antimony hydride, okay. So which is trigonal pyramidal in shape. All of them. This is one example I have taken. We can write M here. Any metal of group 15. It will form a hydride of the shape pyramidal. This is pyramidal shape, and the state of hybridization will be sp3. So the shape is going to be trigonal pyramidal and geometry is tetrahedral. Okay. Alright. Next is thermal stability. Thermal means heat. How stable is the hydride to heat? If you heat it, it does not dissociate. Okay. So here it is. How easily it can be decomposed by heat. Decreases thermal stability decreases down the group because of increase in size of the element, which results in weaker bonds. If elements are larger in size, the bonds formed by them will be weaker. So the bond between metal and hydrogen is going to be a weak bond because the metal is larger in size, hydrogen is smaller, so extent of overlap will be less. Now reducing characteristics. It increases down the group because the thermal stability decreases as the bond length increases. What is meant by bond length? If this is a larger, if this is a larger atom, we have a smaller atom. The distance between the two nucleus will be your bond length, right? The extent of overlap is less, bond length is more. Bond length is more means the bond is weak. Alright, so it will break. Now, ammonia is a mild reducing agent. Mild reducing agent, why? Because nitrogen is also small, hydrogen is also small, so extent of overlap will be more. It will not give hydrogen easily. Bond length is going to be less, strength of bond will be more. And BiH3 is the strongest. Why? Why strongest reducing agent? Bismuth is much larger in size, hydrogen is very small in size, bond length is more, extent of overlap is less, bond is weak. Okay, it will give hydrogen easily, so it will break. Alright. Now, weaker bonds, bond length, weaker bonds. If the bond is weak, bond length increases, so reducing character increases. Reducing character means how easily it will give hydrogen. Reducing agents are those which give easily hydrogen. Alright, now boiling point. Let us see. See, very interesting. Ammonia has got a very high boiling point. This means much greater than phosphine, arsenic hydride, antimony hydride, and bismuth hydride. Why it is like this? See, all these they have got van der Waals forces, but ammonia can form hydrogen bonding. Okay, due to presence of hydrogen bonding, ammonia shows exceptionally high boiling point as compared to phosphine, arsenic hydride, antimony hydride and bismuth hydride. The correct order, this is asked in 1 mark question. You have to arrange the hydrides in increasing order of boiling point. You have to arrange the hydrides in increasing order of boiling point. It is phosphine is less than arsenic hydride, is less than ammonia, is less than antimony hydride, is less than bismuth hydride. Now why this particular order is there? Because here you can see ammonia is not the, although it forms hydrogen bonding, but it is not going to have the highest boiling point. Highest will be bismuth hydride because of van der Waals forces. Bismuth is much larger in size. So here we have to take both hydrogen bonding also and van der Waals forces also. Bismuth hydride and antimony hydride, they have got higher, much higher van der Waals forces. That is why. Basic character. Basic character means, see, all of them will have lone pair. NS2, NP3, NS2 is lone pair. All of them will have lone pair on the central atom. So basic character means how easily it will give its lone pair. Ammonia and other hydrides are basic in nature because of presence of lone pair, okay, of electrons over the central atom. They are known as Lewis bases. They are known as Lewis bases. Okay, next is the basic character increases down the group. The basic character increases down the group because what is increasing? Size is increasing. If size is increasing, the lone pair which is present is distributed over a larger area. So it is easier for the element to give its lone pair. Is that clear? It will be easier. No, it will, the here the lone pair is more concentrated on a smaller atom like nitrogen. It is small, so it increases in size. The increase in size of the central atom and thus reduction in its tendency to give lone pair with decrease in electron density. Here size is more, electron density is less because electrons are distributed over a larger area. Here electron density is more. So ammonia will be more basic because it can easily give its lone pair because of high electron density. Phosphine when passed through water forms bubbles while ammonia does not. This is very interesting. Phosphine when passed through water is forming bubbles because when are bubbles formed? When a gas is passed through liquid and it does not dissolve. Ammonia is highly soluble in water whereas phosphine is not. So phosphine is going to form bubbles whereas ammonia will not form bubbles. It will be dissolved in water. Okay. Alright. Next is reactivity towards halogens. That means formation of halides.